Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I am sharing a special project that I've been working on, and it's taken me just a day under 3 weeks to do these 3 beautiful journals. I got this gorgeous vintage fabric, I think in February, so it's been a good 6 months that I've been waiting to use it, and I finally finished up all my custom or commissioned orders requested for journals and such. So I was able to really be creative and get these done. The primary kit that I used is called Antique Florals by ChapterOnePapers, and I've used them before, actually a year ago in July, and it's taken me this long to be able to have the freedom to use it again. I really, really love this kit, but it is huge. So I knew when I was planning out to do a journal, it was going to be at least 2 journals, and I actually stretched it into 3, and somehow I was able to get 3 covers out of the fabric that I had with a little tiny bit left. I also have this gorgeous vintage velvet, burnout velvet curtain panel that I've used. Initially I was going to do more of a green and gold or green and yellow theme, and it quickly became sage and blush, which I still was able to tie some of the yellow, the gold in, and I'm very, very pleased with the results. So I haven't quite settled on a name for each of them, but I am thinking of the months of the year. In the center of each signature, I included an Edith Holden double page spread, and there is the month of March, June, and July represented. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to go with as far as names for these. So they're virtually the same, slight differences, of course, because I do run out of some of the elements as I'm going along. But these 2 are going to be available if anybody is interested in finding out more information about them, or if you would like to purchase them, please email me at vintageeleganceinspiration@gmail.com. I'll leave that information in the description box below the video. The other journal is spoken for. So I'm going to show you these first, and what I'll do is probably talk through one of them and then just do a flip through of the other one and a flip through of the 3rd journal over there. So they are 1 signature, 22 pages. They're for 88 page sides and 264 pages altogether, all 3 journals. So pretty big project. I have shared a few sneak peeks of what I've done inside, the lace edges, some of the pages, and some of the tags and ephemera pieces that I have made. I ended up using my vintage buttons on the spine. The spine is 1 3/4 inches thick. I could have used 1 1/2, but I'm actually very pleased. I think it covers the signature with a little bit of room to spare. Some beautiful beads and charms on the bottom. I've also made these removable tassels out of fibers. I have come across a lady who actually spins the wool herself locally, and I buy the fibers from her. I've either bought them in a grouping of different ones all together, or on a like a ball of yarn. Used a great big bead cap and some decorative beads to form the tassels. Because I decided to leave the covers unadorned, all I did was cut the fabric, serge around the edges, and attach it to the Craft X cover. I wanted the fabric to be seen and touched because it is just remarkable. It is so beautiful and soft. And what I did instead was add the tassels and all kinds of other journal jewelry. On these 2, I have repurposed a pair of earrings and removed the dangly beads, and that's stuck right now, but it does hang just nicely on the Sari Silk closure ties. This is an olive green color, and I thought it coordinated very beautifully with the rest of the journal. So let's open it up and go inside. On the inside, I have used artisan paper on all three journals and just chose a coordinating pattern. Got some vintage rosette ribbon here, and I don't know what fabric it's made out of, but it feels like silk, but I don't think it really is. And I've made these lovely little booklets using the Vintage Ladies from Heather at RubyandPearl.xo. Added some beads to the ties and some flowers throughout that I have used from Odulcina and digitals. I, of course, ripped up a bunch, tore some papers, and fed some seam binding through the holes in there. Just a piece of lace and extra journaling space in this opening booklet. And I've just got a book page from a beautiful Victoriana book that had some beautiful images in it. Here we've got as the first page some vintage wallpaper, and I've added a lot of beautiful custom dyed green and blush lace and appliques to the page edges, the page sides. I've also used digitals from Lorna Taylor at TaylorMadeJournals, and this one is her Antique French Ledger Papers 1855. That's the name of this kit. So we've got a little tuck spot with an envelope. What I did with this whole kit before I even cut the papers was I used my glimmer paste to make it really sparkle, and I love that metallic sheen. Just a little booklet inside to do some extra journaling. You know, you can always use these coin envelopes as a card edition or add some money or something and use them again in your gift giving. Beautiful vintage lace. And here is some vintage wallpaper, bit of collaging with vintage music paper, and one of Tim Holt's flowers, field flowers. Here we've got some Anna Griffin paper. I've just added some parchment paper to the back and a tab on the top of the tag here. Vintage lace, beautiful blush color, and some vintage buttons throughout. These ones are in sort of a blushy taupe color. This paper I was so in love with. It is rose gold dyed paper. And I should know if it's avocado paper or not, but I'm not sure it is, if it is or not. It's actually extra long. It's very oversized, but they're absolutely beautiful. I love them. I've used my PSX Rose and other floral stamps throughout the journal. This tag I made just using some cardstock, paper punched the edge, used some antique French lace here in blush tones, and some applique or trim that I've cut up just into the separate pieces and added some point d'esprit on the top. Very, very easy tag. And then this folds out for extra journaling space. And you can see the shimmer on that. Isn't it amazing? Here we've got definitely an antique envelope. This is dated 1902, so it's 120 years old. Isn't that amazing? A sweet little piece of ephemera there. And yeah, the size of this journal is, I believe, 8.5 by 5.5 finished. tuck spot here with some stenciling, and I have used a new color called Flamingo Opal Polish, Golden Flamingo Opal Polish. It is amazing. I love it. That is made by Creative Expressions, which if you follow me, you know I've got several colors that I love to use. In each of my journals, I like to include a vintage or an antique postcard, and this is the one that I've chosen because of the soft blush tone. And I can't read the date on that, but I'm pretty sure that's about close to 100 years old as well. Just some tea-dyed paper here for extra journaling space, and some sweet little blush colored sequin trim on this side tuck. Vintage sheet music with some beautiful sage green lace on the side. And then this page I absolutely love with this gorgeous blush colored lace. You could use that as a tuck for anything else that you'd like to add to the journal. I love how the eyelash edge of the lace just hangs over the side like that. And then here we've got a note card that I made, journaling card. What I did was I used planner paper, so it's a little bit heavier weight, like an index card, and it's lined. And I just cut them in half, and then I used one of the digitals from Ruby and Pearl, added some collaging to the side, and I made the tag toppers out of this curtain panel material. Some beautiful vintage lace and some stamping on that side. Lots of room for journaling. Lots and lots of room for journaling. Here's some more of my Anna Griffin paper in the lilacs, and I've backed it onto pink parchment paper. Some stamping and this sweet little tatting doily that I've added as a pocket. Beautiful vintage lace on the top of this tag, and some chiffon silk ribbon. Vintage wallpaper, and some more of the Anna Griffin paper. Here I've done a ruffle in this velvet curtain panel, added some vintage buttons that I've sewn on there, some stamping, a little pocket here, got a tiny little booklet for some secret spots to journal on, and this sweet little photo. These are from G. Kerr's Vintage Ladies, and these two girls are holding a bouquet of flowers together, so it's very sweet. Some more stamping and collaging here on the page. Here's another booklet from the kit. This is a collage digital that I think is from Roxy Creations from long ago. I love this set that I have from her. I think it's from hers. I've just had it for so long that I can't quite remember. And stamped with a butterfly on the inside. And then over the page, we've got beautiful florals and some more blush colored lace. And what I've done is I've layered it up with two different laces. One is a beautiful applique, as you can see. And then I used a little bit of a veiling technique and added some of the sequined and beaded trim from an applique there. Did some ruching of seam binding in a gold color, and one of the images from the Vintage Ladies digital set. This is from like a guest towel size piece of vintage linen. It is embroidered. It's absolutely beautiful, and what I did was I just ripped it instead of cutting it, so I love that effect. And even from the back, it's very pretty. The other name I contemplated for this particular journal is called Pansy, because the vintage postcard that I included has the pansies on it, and this page has pansies on it as well. So we'll see what I end up calling her. And this page just folds out for extra journaling space. Got a lovely journaling tag here with some collaging of Edith Holden paper. Beautiful image from the Vintage Ladies kit and parchment paper on the back. This is some more of the rose gold, metallic rose gold paper. This is one of my favorite pages in this whole project. I absolutely love the way this particular blush colored applique just drapes over the side. It's just so sweet and soft and feminine. I love it. A magnolia large PSX stamp there. Some green lace trim over the page. This is from a sweet little book, and I should just grab it here. French Songs, Poems, and Proverbs from 1939. So I included a page from the book in each of these journals. Just so beautiful. And one of the tags that I made from the kit. This is some paper vintage paper that I have that I've used and added an image to this page for a pocket and one of the little tags from the kit. A Bible page. This particular one is the chapter or the book of Ezekiel. Some more vintage wallpaper in this gorgeous green, and just a bit of collaging here with some vintage book paper. And here we've got a short page, a flap with a tag from the kit, and some scrapbooking paper that I've added some vintage trim to the side. Here we've got another coin envelope and some vintage sheet music. This is, you could call this a privacy folder. It just covers the book page, and this is the layout from Edith Holden's book for the month of March. I just love the flowers and the birds. What I tried to do to reinforce the frailness of the pages was just add a very, very sheer lace to the center before I stitched the signature in. And these are the beads that I've chosen. They are blush colored and the green with some charms of a rose and just very pretty blingy charms. Love the images there of the different kinds of eggs. Some more beautiful green lace and another beautiful applique in the blush color. You could use that as a tuck spot as well, of course. Some more vintage sheet music. And here I've just ripped some paper and made a bit of a collage tuck spot here for a piece of ephemera from the kit. These, I believe, are from Tim Holt's keepsake or field notes packages. I love those. I use them for a lot of things. This is Anna Griffin paper as well, and I've just used a gold oval frame with one of the oval images from the Antique Florals kit. Some more vintage wallpaper and collaging. This is a rose fussy cut from Odulcina digital set that I bought from her on Etsy. Back side of the Bible page. Here's another flower. Looks like an old rose. Beautiful. Got some blush pink colored vintage buttons and lace and stamping here. I just love the flop of all the lace. It just gives it so much character. Another panel of beautiful sage green lace on this side with an antique French applique. These are just so beautiful with the netting inside there. I don't know if it's called tambour lace. I believe it is. And then I've just got a postcard from the kit tucked into this. It's actually backed onto scrapbook paper, so you could write your own notes on there, journaling on there. And this just hides away in this spot. With the ledger pages, I just ripped the top and bottoms of each. Here's another sweet tag. Lovely vintage lady image from Ruby and Pearl. Just collaging of papers underneath. That's some of my Anna Griffin paper. And the metallic blush. I think it's avocado dyed paper. It's just beautiful. Truly beautiful. Love it. And the back side of the book page, it is just a short little flap. So you could always add more to it if you like. This is the back side of the guest towel or linen, vintage linen that I use. Some stamping, some more green, sage green lace on the edge here. Lots of space for journaling. And I did some gold stenciling here. Journaling card that I've used, this beautiful mesh kind of netting. I absolutely love it. I actually think I have that I can show you in this color. And I just cut it into strips and it goes a long, long way. I just used some of my Anna Griffin paper, some beautiful vintage lace, and one of the keepsake die cuts back onto parchment paper. Vintage trim here. Beautiful vintage trim. And then I've got some more lovely lace on this side with one of Nikki's dyed appliques. She is Ravioli Dreams on Etsy, and her work is just amazing. It's just so truly beautiful and unique. Love it. Yeah, and then inside here, this pocket is another postcard for extra journaling. And I did a little tuck spot here, included one of the flowers that I fussy cut and a booklet from the kit. And then this side has a piece of beautiful handkerchief that I cut into 4 pieces, and then instead of using it as a triangle pocket that way, I did it on the side edge of the page and just stitched it down here so it actually acts as a flap. And I just made some tags out of Edith Holden book page onto the planner index cards that I have, and used the holes to just run my Sorry silk ribbon through. Some stamping here, and what have I done here? I'm just going to leave that for now. These tags I made from some of my artisan paper. You can see that it's very textured, and I love the gold paint on there. I've added a vintage mini doily there and some beautiful silk ribbon, a bulb pin with a vintage button on it, and parchment paper to the back of the page. And that is extra journaling space. Magnolia stamp there. And then we've got another beautiful blush colored applique. I've got some of these beautiful pages sent to me by my friend Georgianne, who ran these through her embossing folder, and this color was just so perfect for this page and this whole journal. I just think it's so beautiful. And we've got another tag here out of the Anna Griffin paper in the purple with the beautiful antique lace up here and the chiffon silk ties. Some lovely eyelet cotton dyed lace edge here on this page. The other side of the rose gold dyed paper. And here I've got a vintage image on this paper, and I just added a die cut on there. And some stamping at the bottom of the page. I really need to stock up more on vintage ephemera. That's something that I don't have a lot of, but I love when I find it. I love it. and I enjoy using it. Here's some more vintage wallpaper, some collaging with some music paper, more vintage lace, and the beautiful ledger papers. And then in this pocket, we've got an image of a rose. I just did some stamping on these heart die cuts and some antique French lace through here. And then this is a little envelope. There's a booklet inside of it. And I just did some collaging on the front of the envelope. And that just gets tucked back into here. Some lovely green lace on the back side of the vintage wallpaper. And I just love these tomes. They're so sweet. Got a lovely journaling card that I've made with an image from Ruby and Pearl's Vintage Ladies. Some gorgeous applique in a blush color. And just some collaging on the back of this scrapbook paper. And then just some advertising from a vintage magazine that I included in here. Picture of some luggage for this lovely lady. A little tiny tag made out of Edith Holden book page and a charm with some leaves on it. And that finishes up this journal. So there she is. This one is available again. If you are interested, just let me know by emailing me. And then this one I am going to just flip through, so it'll make it a little bit quicker. Very much the same elements, just slightly different. All three of the books are very, very similar. All right, Karen, come on. There we go. 1908. I think that's 1908 as well. Beautiful writing. And that's this other journal. And the last one. I've added a piece of repurposed jewelry to the front. This was a pendant that I just took apart. And these stick pins are optional. If you decide you want to get one of these journals, just let me know if you would like one, and I can include that. And again, another piece of repurposed jewelry. That was a bracelet. It's a digitally enhanced postcard. Vintage wallpaper, vintage crochet doily. Gorgeous image with some more wallpaper collaged on the side here. A tiny little tuck spot for a special note. Some more of the fussy cut flowers. And some beautiful vintage trim. An antique envelope. This one is dated 1895. Isn't that amazing? Beautiful handwriting. Another one of the vintage ladies from Ruby and Pearl. This beautiful textile here. And a gorgeous vintage image. a summer queen. Some vintage buttons on this page side here, and a gorgeous applique in a blush color. Some of the artisan paper I included there in a tiny tuck spot. Some collaging with vintage wallpaper. And then this is can be used as an envelope for another piece of ephemera. Gorgeous blush colored applique and lots of journaling space on the back. This is some beautiful vintage trim that I purchased from a seller on Etsy. And here we've got our privacy folio as well. Gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful, delicate lace. And this center page spread is from June of the honeysuckle. And the same beads and charms on the bottom of the signature strings. And a beautiful veil of lace with this gorgeous blush colored applique. And some more of this beautiful anagriffin paper. Vintage sheet music. A little tuck spot. Some beautiful sage green lace. The journaling card. The velvet curtain here that I've done in a ruffle and added some vintage buttons. Beautiful floral image. This is a gorgeous piece of trim that I absolutely love. Another Edith Holden tag that I've used some daffodils and backed it onto the planner index card. Beautiful lace here. And a tuck spot on this side of the page. Vintage lace here and on the journaling tag, as well as some antique French lace in a blush color. Both of them are blush, and a beautiful die cut flower there. Beautiful Battenberg lace, small doily, coaster size, and with the antique French tambour applique on this side. And another long tall tag. England is a Garden. I think the name of the book is called England is a Garden. Another beautiful applique from Nikki. Some sage colored lace on the side, the back side of this beautifully hand embroidered little piece of a table runner. Vintage wallpaper. A little bit more stenciling here. And gorgeous anagriffin paper. Here I've added a word stick called Adventure Awaits. And this napkin or handkerchief was stunning. I've never seen anything like it. I don't even know what this fabric is called, other than it feels like a crepe of something. And it has the outline is almost peeling off. It's just so fragile and so lovely and very, very different. It's a journaling card that I've done some collaging with Edith Holden book page. And this beautiful antique French applique. Absolutely beautiful with the rosebuds on it. It does look like an angel, and that's, I layered it on some vintage blush colored lace. There's some metallic paper that I have run through the embossing folder. Another book page from the Victoriana book of these beautiful flowers and some blush colored applique trim. Some more stenciling and one of these journaling cards that I've made out of the artisan paper vintage doily and an antique button on the bulb pin there with this beautiful, 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 very soft silk ribbon. And this is some Tim Holtz wallpaper that I just cut the shape out of the flowers out of. Here's another image of some wedding guests, but to me they look like fair damsels. Their dresses are just exquisitely beautiful. So beautiful. And those are from Ruby and Pearl. Some vintage wallpaper collaged on this side. And we're coming to the end of this journal. Some beautiful antique French lace. A little envelope. Some extra journaling space inside of it. And the vintage wallpaper on this side, my logo, Vintage Elegance Inspiration. And this beautiful journaling card that I've added this veiled applique with tiny little beads and pearls. Is just so sweet and delicate. And the tag topper. And then just another page from a advertising flyer from decades ago. And I've hung a little trinket on the side here too in blush colored tones. And that is the third one of my journals. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at these. And thank you for watching and staying with me. I hope you have a wonderful day and a great week ahead of you. And if you are interested in either one of the other two journals that I have available, please send me an email and I can give you more information if you would like. So thanks again. Bye now.